I like to do several tasks without gloves because I have more dexterity, but scrubbing dirt from under my fingernails can be tedious. One way to make your fingernails easier to clean is to get a bar of soap and scratch it for a few times. The soap gets under your fingernails, keeps the dirt out, but then the soap washes out easily when you wash your hands. Spring planting is well underway here in Albuquerque by mid April, and I'm going to quickly run through several things that we have planted. The first thing we planted was peas. We created this raised bed last year to grow tomatoes, but we'll be growing peas and cucumbers here this year. First, I'm going to add some additional strings for the peas to grow on. I soaked the peas overnight so they would sprout more quickly. To plant them, I press the seeds into the ground about a quarter of an inch, putting 2 seeds by each string just in case one doesn't sprout. If both sprout, it will be fine for them to grow up the same string. After I've planted 2 seeds by each string, we water them thoroughly. We will have to keep the bed moist until the seeds sprout. This bed has drip irrigation, but we haven't turned it on because most of the yard doesn't need to be watered now. The next crop I planted was a companion planting of beets and kohlrabi. These plants make a good combination because the kohlrabi has a swollen stem above the ground and the beet has a swollen root underground, so they can be grown close together, making the most of your space. I started the kohlrabi in the greenhouse a few weeks ago, but beets don't transplant well, so the seeds need to be planted directly in the ground where they will grow. First, I'm removing a few weeds that have come up here, and then I dig a hole for my first kohlrabi. When planting transplants, carefully remove them from the cell. If the roots are tightly packed, loosen the root ball a little, which is unnecessary with these plants because the roots have not filled the cell. I'm planting in a diamond pattern, offsetting each row of plants with the plants 6 inches apart. This pattern allows the most plants in the least space. I measure the distance with my hand, which is pretty close to 6 inches. Imprecise measurements don't really matter much. Firm the soil around the plant's roots so there is a good soil contact. After I've planted all the kohlrabi plants, I press beet seeds into the soil between the kohlrabi plants. A beet seed is actually a compound seed, so you don't have to plant more than one. They will sprout a bit sooner if you soak them in water overnight, although that's not mandatory. When they come up, you might have to thin the beets, removing all but one plant, even though you only planted one seed. Do this carefully to avoid disturbing the beet you want to save. You can wait until the beets are a couple of inches tall, or cut or pinch off the leaves of the extra beets to use in salads. The seeds should be pressed into the ground about half an inch. Once they're all planted, water the area well. Beet seeds need to be kept moist if they're going to sprout, but the kohlrabi plants can't be waterlogged or they will begin to rot. Keep the soil moist, but not soggy. We have fastened chicken wire to our rainwater tank and grow plants on it every summer. In past years, I've grown cucumbers, cantaloupe, and pole beans. However, the straw we use to insulate the outlet of the tank over the winter, the water from the condenser drain of the air conditioner that drains near here, and the overflow from the tank when we have heavy rainstorms, seems to breed a substantial population of snails and sow-bugs. So I have not had much luck getting plants started here in the past couple of years. They get eaten before they have a chance to grow. This year I am planting pole beans and radishes here. This is a good combination because the radishes seem to protect the beans from pests if some of them are left to go to seed. Today I'm planting radishes. The soil is moist, so I make a shallow trench and drop radish seeds in it about every 2 inches. I have 3 different varieties of radish, some round and some long. I'm going all the way around the tank, even though there is less sun on the back. Radishes are among the few vegetables that need less than 6 hours of sunlight a day. I have grown cucumbers here, but they don't produce as much as the ones in the sunny side of the tank. I will cover the area with diatomaceous earth to keep the pests from eating the plants as soon as they sprout. This has shells of diatoms in it, which are a tiny form of algae that have sharp silica shells. These shells make tiny cuts in the skin of soft-bodied insects, snails, and slugs, dehydrating them. I'm hoping this will keep the seedlings from being eaten. The sharp little silica shells that cut the snails and insects also cut human lungs, so I'm wearing a mask to keep me from breathing any of it.